guys, this is H-Time Kicks 713 coming here with analysis of Chandler Parsons. The news from this past weekend, wanted to give it a couple days to digest, was he is going to the Dallas Mavericks after the Houston Rockets decided not to match his restricted free agent offer from the Mavericks. He's getting a whopping $46 million over 3 years. Definitely an upgrade from his current contract, which was paying him just under $1 million. And kind of quickly talk about the contract he was on before getting the match offer. It was kind of unique. He was a second-round pick. He got a 4-year contract. It was also kind of rare. He added the extra years there as a second-round pick for the GM Daryl Morey. And actually, it was a pretty impressive contract in terms for an organization to get him so cheap for that many years. With second-rounders usually don't get that extended of a contract. But it was payday now, and he gets $46 million, averages about $15 million a year. It's an upscaling contract. It starts in the mid $14 million range, and as every year goes by, it goes up. I think it ends around $16 million on his final and third year. Be interested on that third year, his player option, but also the salary cap may go up, so that $60 million may not be too much of a concern. So Chandler Parsons, the Rockets decided not to match him because of the constraints in terms of being able to be flexible with getting other players, with the other Harden and Howard on the team. It really came down to, after analyzing some of the things the general manager Daryl Morey of the Houston Rockets said, he kind of believes in this three-core team, like the Spurs, trying to find that three, and I guess he just felt Parsons at this time couldn't be justified to be a three-core, and that's why they were looking to get the other superstar, possibly a Bosh. Now, had they been able to sign Bosh, word is they would have signed Parsons. At that point, you're saying that those four players are your core, and pretty much all the other bench players are kind of just filling in minutes and roles at that point. So we'll see how he does. With the larger contract, I think he'll do well with the Mavericks, and we'll go into a little bit of his offensive and defensive game. As I've been able to watch pretty much all his games for the most part over the 3 years of his career, and for the most part, I'll describe him as definitely above average player, one of the better players in the league. Not in that elite status yet, but definitely there's the potential for him to grow into that role and into that position as time goes by. He's a very young player at 25 years old. And I kind of want to look at the Chandler Parsons, his kind of game. So he came to be a pretty good three-point shooter. So it's around that 37% range for the season and throughout his career. He kind of has a flat line type shot, not too much arc. So kind of has to kind of go in pretty straight in, but he does able to hit when he's wide open. He seems to hit that pretty consistent basis. I think the one thing going for him as a three-point shooter, he does have a superstar on the team with the Mavericks now, Dirk. And Dirk should free up with the double teams to give Chandler a lot of open space on the three-point line. One thing about Chandler, he does like shooting near the top of the key, also on the right part of the arc. So, and one thing I think this season, which was to his benefit, playing with Dwight Howard, is, and it's kind of seems kind of a little silly, but is how to throw the ball into the low post. Throughout the season, the Rockets had some issues trying to get the ball into the low post, and I think with Parsons having Dwight on the team, he got better at that, and that's going to help out Dirk in terms of how to throw that ball into the low post. Like I said, it sounds a little silly skill, but you'll be amazed how some players don't learn that skill and have trouble getting the pass into the post. Also, one of his key strengths is I've seen throughout his career, he likes to be on the fast break, and he finishes off extremely well. He has a nice control when going to the basket, and he has a nice step to the basket where he puts his body in a position where he's going to make a pretty good shot and finish it off, either slam dunking or laying off the glass on a nice 2 points. One part of his game, I don't know if you could say he's a player where you say give him the ball and score. He's one that can, from the three-point line, kind of maybe drive and work his way into the hole. And the one thing I like when he does that, he's in control. It's almost like he's going in slow motion sometimes, but he's not going out of control where he's putting himself in a bad position. I think one thing he started to show was, drive and kind of stop and pop for the mid-range shot. That's something I think as he grows as a player, he can add to the game. So that's where he is. You know, he's a little above average free throw shooter. Definitely can always improve on that. And he's good for the 2-point per field goal percentage. So that's what you can expect from him from his offensive game. I think where he can definitely improve is, of course, get that 3-point field goal percentage even higher, up above the 40%, and he can always benefit from that. So he should be a pretty good player this year. I expect, well, you know, downfall, given that Dirk's there, and he should still get the open looks like he did when he was with Houston. So we'll take a look at Chandler Parsons' defensive play. The way I would describe it to you guys is, one is, you know, he's not like a total defensive liability. It's not definitely a strong point in terms of being a lockdown defender or someone you can just totally shut someone down. But he's not the liability out there. So I think with what's going to help him, like he did with Houston, having Dwight Howard, is he's going to have Tyson Chandler back there. So Tyson Chandler will help clean things up for him in the post if he gets burned when being defending a player. Now, what we describe also is, you know, he's not like an impact player, you know, in terms of defense, like a Dikembe Mutombo, where he's just going to block shots, or a Bruce Bowen and shut someone down. So don't expect that from him. But given his length and athletic ability, he should do fine in that area. So I don't find it too much of a concern for him to be on defense. Now, overall, you know, he gets that big $50 million contract, and talk about, you know, is he kind of worth it? Well, of course not at this point in his career. He's definitely got to prove it. It's going to be a different game. It's almost like the opposite of Jeremy Lin. You know, Jeremy was getting that big payday, $50 million this year, and there was that expectation to live up to $15 million. Well, Parsons was making under $1 million, so the expectation was lower. So it's going to kind of be the reverse now for him. He's got to live up to that high expectation of being the highest paid player on the team, and what comes with that. So we'll see how he does. I still feel he'll still have just worse off. He'll still have the same you know, season he had with the Rockets, or even better. So I don't see any downgrade in his game. He just has room to improve on his game, and so I don't see any place where he's going to fall by going to the Mavericks. Now, in terms of the contract too, is the way to look at it, you got to give Dirk some props. You know, he took a pretty big pay cut. You know, almost gave $5 million up this year, maybe $14 million in total throughout the career, just to get a player like Parsons. And so, but one way to look at it is maybe not looking at Parsons as getting that huge contract, but it's $25 million for the both of them. So that's one way to look at it, and that's a little more easier to take when you look at it in that manner, given that Dirk took a pay cut to help improve his team chances of winning the championship. So subscribe, like, guys. Let me know what you think of the Parsons deal. You know, I think it's one thing. His intangibles was he was very good in the locker room with the Houston Rockets. Now, the Houston Rockets were a very young team, so he got along well with the younger players, Lynn, Pat Bev, Harden. So we'll see how he does with the Mavericks, which is going to be a pretty good veteran team with Dirk, Chandler, and I think some signings here now with Richard Jefferson and Rashard Lewis. So it's going to be more of a veteran team, older players who's going to be around, and we'll see how he does. He was a good chemistry, a glue for the Rockets, and he really improved. I think McHale's going to miss him, but I guess life goes on. So we'll see what happens, and we'll look forward to the year and see what Parsons can do with his new found big salary and his new home here in Dallas. All right, guys. Thanks for a lot. Subscribe, like, and talk to you guys later.